This is Mark Emerson. You're listening to Airy Bros Radio. Bada bing.
From what we've seen, whether it's from a couple years ago with Last Chance U or some of the other coaches that we've talked to, that the Jayhawk Conference is got quite the athletic talents, across the board, whether it's football, cross country, basketball, probably even some wrestling schools in there as well too. So we want to get into the nitty gritty with all that's going on in Kansas and the junior colleges there.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, the Jayhawk Conference obviously is it's tough, man. It's tough across the board. They call it the SEC of JUCO just because, if you look at football, I don't even know how many are ranked inside the top 15, but it's week in, week out for them for sure. For us, cross country wise, it's just the same, man. Especially top end talent, it's just ultra competitive. But if you're a competitor and you like to compete, man, junior college, the KJCCC Region 6 is where it's at, man. There's a lot of competition to be had here. Cross country, track, like you said, all sports, basketball, football. So it's really just awesome to see, man, be a part of, and but yeah.
Awesome. Well, before we get rock and roll, we kind of rolled into it, but we'll give you a little bit of an intro here and we'll get into it. So we wanted to, first of all, say thank you. Last night we went belly to belly with Coach Brian Stoll from Delbarton High School, number one ranked team in New Jersey for wrestling. We really appreciate him sharing all the insight into the ins and outs of the Green Wave and what they got going on at Delbarton. And like we do over here at Airy Bros Radio, one night we're going belly to belly. And then the next night, we're going back on the cross country course. We had an epic past 2 weeks of cross country championship running with the NJCAA 2 weeks ago, and then NAIA on Friday with some of our alumni, and then also Division One, Division Two, and Division Three on Saturday with a lot of great racing. So we are back on the cross country course tonight, and we are joined by Butler Community College cross country track and field head coach Mark Emerson. He's in his first year as the head coach at Butler. He'd been with the program for a handful of years as the assistant coach. Um, Coach in his first season was a USTFCCCA NJCAA Central Region Women's Coach of the Year. He led Butler men to a fourth place finish and the women to a 10th place at the NJCAA National Championships 2 weeks ago, Division One. Coach also coached Emmanuel Odom to a third place finish, the individual race, mixing it up with our friends from Iowa Western. So we are excited to get into it. Coach, thank you for joining us tonight and welcome to Airy Bros Radio.
I appreciate you guys having me, man. It's a pleasure, man. So.
We are excited, Coach. Before we get too far into it, if you have any information in terms of social media or anything for the cross country and track teams and or anywhere maybe you want the recruits to find you, the floor is
Yeah,
yours.
yeah. If there's any junior college athletes looking for an opportunity to run at the next level, go follow us on our Instagram, Butler CCTF, and then our Twitter. Well, I guess X is Butler CCTFXC. So give us a follow, give us a shout, give us a holler, man. Whatever. But yeah. So.
All right, we're gonna get you that Airy Bros bump, so be careful for the feed to get clogged up a little bit here. So, Coach, I guess one place we like to start with a lot of our guests is, your own journey into cross country and track and field, and maybe as an athlete, but then also more importantly, how you got into coaching. When did you know that you wanted to get into coaching? When was that something that became a thing for you?
Yeah. You know, for me at least, I didn't start running until my junior year of high school. I knew, like, I always talk to my dad, talk to my mom, like, hey, we need to think about, the future. And I knew I always wanted to be a part of athletics. Now, what I wanted to do, I wasn't sure. And, I went the junior college route too. I went NAIA after that. But I I had our department head, Brian Minnick. I was a secondary education major. I was going to be a teacher. That was my goal. But he sat me down and he said, "Well, you sure this is what you want to do? You know, I look into coaching. You seem pretty passionate about cross country, track." Um, and I looked into it, ended up changing my major, man, and you know, and after that, it was kind of go after that. So.
What did you end up changing your major to?
So I changed it to at Kansas Wesleyan. They had fitness and wellness with or sorry, exercise science with a emphasis fitness and wellness, and then I minored in coaching out there. So
Oh, so they even had coaching as a subject matter.
yeah, um,
Excellent.
Coach, after being the assistant coach, was it for 4 years at Butler?
yeah.
Yeah.
So three years at Butler. This is my first year as the head coach. So
What was that transition like for you? Were you running stuff as an assistant coach, so it was kind of just the same, but you had a different title, or was it a whole new situation you found yourself in?
yeah, no, that's a good question. So, thankfully, the previous head coach, Greg Franklin, if he's out there listening right now, shout out Greg Franklin. Um, but he gave me an opportunity at Butler. He actually hired me on when he took the head position. And, thankfully, I worked a lot with the cross country side of things, and he let me go full reign with the cross country side of things. And I was able to get a lot of experience from that. But obviously, man, I think coming in, you always think, okay, man, I'm ready to be a head coach, ready to do this head on. And, there's, it's always a learning experience that first year. And, I'm learning a lot of things still. Um, but, it's awesome, man. So.
So you said you're learning a lot of things. It's always a learning experience. What was the biggest kind of light bulb? Oh man, I didn't know that type of moment that you had this year.
Yeah. So a lot of the back end work stuff, a lot of the paperwork stuff, the kind of boring stuff, but a lot of that stuff, and also like, being more of almost taking like a CEO, like managerial role of the whole program, as an assistant. I played my role. I knew hey, this is what ex was expected of me. This is what I needed to do. And to being thrown into the position of, hey, okay, now I got to set the expectations for my assistants, for my athletes. I got to set the standards, set the bar, um, and making sure everyone's meeting that. And um, so, yeah.
So you're saying you don't like doing expense reports?
Yeah, that's probably not the funnest part. But we get through with it, I guess. So
Yeah, seems like most of the coaches that we talk to, they not many of them. There's been a couple, but majority of them aren't really digging the expense reports, and that's usually like the first thing that gets handed off to one of the assistant coaches or maybe the director of operations that let them take care of that one.
yeah, yeah,
When you mentioned you minored in coaching at Kansas Wesleyan, correct?
yeah,
Yep. When you're in a minor like that and you're taking coursework like that, do they talk about stuff outside of the X's and O's, like
yeah,
expense reports and budgeting and those sorts of things?
yeah.
Yeah.
Some of my teachers, like one of them, he was actually the volleyball coach too. But I remember one lesson plan he had for us is he gave us a budget. He said, "Hey, this is XYZ. Okay, now how are you going to make it work?" And that's kind of one thing that I think helped me a lot. One lesson from Kansas Wesleyan that I took away that helped me now. Um, a lot of that stuff definitely helped for sure. So
Okay. Coach, you got something, Jim?
Yes,
Go
I
ahead.
do. Thank you, Rich. I thank you for not letting me cut you off tonight. We were all over each other last night. But Coach, you mentioned, the head coach prior to you let you kind of do your thing as the assistant coach. Did you feel that you were building the program to the finishes you had this year at nationals, or did that kind of come with you taking the helm of the program?
Yeah, for sure. No, it's been in the making. When I first got to Butler, I got here late. I got here in August. I didn't get hired until my official hire date wasn't, I think, until like the first week of school. So we had what we had. I think our number five runner on the guy side, he was our like water boy from the year before. And we didn't take last at the region meet either with him. So but we've come a long way. I think progressively our guys have done better every year. I think on both sides, men and women, this is the best year they've had in a while at the national meet. The women won the Region 6 championships this year. Hasn't been done since 2015 for them. And so I think we're going in the right direction. It's been building up, and um, so pretty happy with it.
So you mentioned building since you've been there, that fifth runner being the water boy the year before. What do you credit that to? Do you credit that to the training? Do you credit that to the recruiting? Kind of what is that recruiting strategy when you only have the kids for 2 years? How do you continually rebuild and reload?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a grind. Some days I think to myself, like, man, if I was at a 4 year, life would be a little bit easier, But always recruiting. But the good thing is, man, I like recruiting. I like building connections, meeting people, talk with them. We're always out recruiting. Here at Butler, especially, and within our program, we're very big on recruiting Kansas kids. So, especially cross country season, we'll get out there, every Saturday when we don't have a meet, go out recruit, try to bring those kids in every year. But yeah, I mean, recruiting almost feels like it never stops, and even when it starts to slow down, you're still going. We get through.
Is there particular areas in Kansas that are hotbeds for cross country run? I know Kansas has traditionally had, a rich history in running with, Jim Ryan coming out of Wichita, not too far from y'all. Is it Wichita, Kansas City, are those hotbeds, or are there some other areas that maybe two guys from New Jersey might not know about?
Yeah, yeah. No, the Wichita area, they have, we have some pretty good runners, and it's 30 minutes down the road. Um, you know, the Kansas City area, the suburbs, Olathe, the Shawnee Missions of the world. They every year they always have good kids, and we've brought in some good kids out of there. But for me, you know, recruiting Kansas, what I like the most, is kind of recruiting these small town kids, these 2A, 3A kids. They're kind of underdeveloped. You bring them in, and they just work. They come in, work hard every day, and they develop. And there's a lot of talent, in that small class, Kansas. So
And is there four divisions in Kansas or five?
six,
Is there
six,
six?
yeah.
Okay, so in
You also there?
he's Ugandan, correct?
Yes, he's from Uganda.
How does that connection happen?
So I actually got lucky with Emmanuel. Coach Greg. So we had a kid on our team, Nazio, and I think it was his dad. He was out, I believe, in Kenya somewhere coaching, and he met Emmanuel at one of these national meets, and um, basically he said, "Hey, there's a school in Kansas. You want to come to America, and, run for the team, blah blah blah, this and that." And he came on over, man. We kind of got lucky with Emmanuel, so um,
He's a freshman.
he's a freshman this year, yeah. So he'll
Okay.
he'll return.
And what's the culture like, culture shock like for someone coming from another country and from Africa to El Dorado, Kansas?
Yeah, yeah. So usually the big thing, especially with, runners coming over, is the food, man. It's the
Yeah.
food. You know, it's funny because when I first picked him up from the airport, I was asking him about food and stuff, and he said, "Oh, coach, I'm very flexible, with food, this and that." And I think it took about 2 weeks, and he said, "Coach, I need some rice, man. I need, and so we make sure to try to accommodate him and some of the others, pre-meat and stuff. Um, but yeah, the food stuff is big time. And yeah, so that's kind of the big thing.
Was there a language barrier, or did he speak English already coming in?
Yeah, I mean, so his English is good. He just has a really thick accent. So you get around someone for so long, you get used to it. But like at first, I would always be saying, "Huh? Say that again? Huh?" And you probably get tired of it, man.
Yeah.
Me saying that. But okay, one more time. We have a young lady, Elizabeth. Um, she'll be back next year, but she's from Mexico, and it's the same way. Her English is okay. It's a little broken, but she gets through. She does good in the classroom, so we make it work, So
And with the Division 1 JUCO is a little bit different. Jimmy and I are both went to Division 3 schools, where there's no housing, no scholarships or anything like that. Are there dormitories and stuff like that on the campus for Butler?
yeah,
Yeah.
we have dorms. We have a few different options. We have on-campus apartments. We have 2 dorm halls, 3 actually, and then some of our kids live off campus too, and especially our internationals, I let them live off campus. And it's good, you know, cafeteria food is all right, but it gives them an opportunity to like, make their own food and all that stuff too. So yeah, but there's
Cafeteria food's gonna
dorms.
be cafeteria food no matter what, even the
Yes.
best.
Coach, you mentioned like that you like to recruit kids from Kansas, and because of Last Chance U, we follow Coach Jason Bryan and listen to his podcast from time to time, and he's talked about how I guess it's that Jayhawk Conference is trying to put something in play where each team in Kansas has to have a certain amount of kids from Kansas. Is there something like that going through?
I haven't heard anything about that. I know they had that before in the past, especially I think it was a football where you know, they had to recruit, they only could recruit so many out of states or whatever, and then they got that taken away. I haven't heard nothing. I kind of hope not because it's gonna make life a little bit tougher. But yeah, I mean, so yeah.
What's the percentage of your team off the top of your head of in-state kids and out-of-state kids and international?
Yeah. So this year I would say probably 60-70% are from Kansas and the rest are either out of state or international. So yeah.
How do the international kids mix with the kids from Kansas? Is it all one big family?
That's a really good question. So at first, usually what happens is the internationals will kind of stay with the internationals, and then the in-staters or the kids from the states will stay together. It just takes a little bit of time. We do a preseason camp at the beginning of the year. We come in a week before and do a lot of team bonding stuff. So we try to facilitate that for the kids. But now everyone gets along. International and kids from the states, we're all together. So I mean, it's not an issue. I think just takes a little time.
Have all those internationals, have they been adopted for the holiday season? Will someone be taking them to somewhere in Kansas for some turkey?
Yes, yes. So, especially Christmas too, we're putting something
Yeah.
together for them for Christmas also, and making sure they're taken care of, and even some of our like athletes from the states, their parents, man, we've had some awesome parents. Like they take it upon themselves. They said, "Hey, coach, can I do this for them? Can I do that?" Yeah, sure, go ahead. I mean, like, so we're fortunate, man. Like, we have a really good support system, and we try to help those kids out too. So
Coach, talking about go back to the school, you mentioned the dormitories and stuff. Curious, you've talked to countless coaches, and every so often there's some unique offerings that the school has academically, whether it's construction engineering or parks and recreation. Some of the schools in Colorado even offer brewers degrees and things like that. Is there anything unique that an individual can go to Butler for?
yeah, so the way Butler's set up, obviously with a lot of junior colleges, they're in different areas. We're close to Wichita, so right down the road is Andover. We have one kid that's coming in to transfer this year. At semester, he's a track guy, he's a sprinter, but he wants to do construction, and we have a really good construction program. And it's right down the road, like 15 minutes in Andover, and he's going to commute every day from there. We have a really good automotive department on campus here in El Dorado as well. Um, our medical um, lab area here too is really good. They have a lot of transfer options with KU. KU has a really good medical program out there. So, and what I tell kids too a lot when I'm recruiting them is like, man, you go to a lot of junior colleges, obviously you're gonna get your gen eds anywhere you go, right? You can get your Englishes and stuff, but I'm like, here at Butler, we got these things called tracks basically, and like, a kid who wants to do engineering, we have some pre-engineering, options for them to get involved with. So, when they go to that 4 year, I tell them, I said, man, hey, we're not just getting our gen ends here, we're getting ready for the next level too. You're going to have some of those 100, 200 level classes. And so be able to help them out a lot there. So,
Coach, you mentioned getting kids ready for the next level, and for myself, going to junior college, I needed that. I wasn't a student, I was a wrestler. I went to college for wrestling, and that was my main focus. And it took me a while to be able to transition. What do you do as far as helping kids kind of transition to that next level? I know it's hard because cross country is during that first semester, so there's a lot of adjustment to make in that freshman year.
yeah, no, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there for sure. I was the same way. I wasn't equipped with what it took to be a college student. But I mean, as you probably relate, like the junior college route, man, helped a lot. And, we were given opportunities with good coaches that helped us out along the way. And, that's my goal too. And some of these kids that come into our program, I say, man, thank God you went junior college. Because if you would have went D1, D2 right now, I said you wouldn't have made it. But that's I tell them, I said, man, we're gonna work through it. We're gonna work through it. And my goal is to get them out the door to the next level to where they want to go. And so and I have a lot of one-on-one meetings with the kids, try to keep everyone on the right direction of where we need to go. And sometimes, man, sometimes, if you care about someone, you got to tell them what they don't want to hear either. So, being honest and transparent is my big thing. And ultimately, they know it's out of love, and it's because I care about them, want to see them do better. So, um, but yeah.
One of the best advice I ever got was from my junior college coach. He told me if you go up and you talk to all your teachers and you have a relationship with them, you're not going to get less than a D, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to get C's because that's going to get you on to the next level you need to go to as far as progressing. But that was something I really took to heart. And like you said, in junior college, there's a small classes, so you can have those one-on-one relationships with the teachers. What's that like at Butler? Are kids able to build those relationships? Do you have open relationships with communication with the teachers where you can go and, hey, how's so and so doing? Are they coming to class? Or are they doing what they need to do?
Yeah, no, 100%. We are a small campus, so generally, the teachers work well with us, coaches, and the students. And, Jimmy has to go down to Texas to run at Texas Relays. If he goes out and communicates with his teacher, it's no problem. And, it's awesome at Butler because We'll have kids like saying, man, my teacher told me good job today, because I qualified for nationals the weekend before, and generally like they keep up with the students, the achievements, athletic wise, big athletic campus. So um, it's just really good support system to have for the kids.
Coach, I picked up on it. I originally said El Dorado, but it's El Dorado. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. El Dorado,
El
Kansas.
Dorado. Okay, I picked
Yeah.
up on that. I'm curious. Butler is the Grizzlies. When's the last time there's been a grizzly bear in El Dorado, Kansas?
I'm not sure. That's a really good question,
The
man.
mascot.
Mascot, yeah, the mascot. Yeah, yeah.
I
Mhm.
guess it's a little bit better than Independence, which is the Pirates. I don't know if there's ever been a pirate in Kansas.
I hope not. Yeah.
Coach, what are the hot topics we love to talk to cross country coaches about? It's been pretty popular the last, say, probably 2 years, but it seems to be trending more now that colleges are picking up on it. Jimmy and I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do the Grizzlies do they dabble in the double threshold training at all?
Double threshold. We haven't yet. I actually
Okay.
talked to one of my student athletes about that the other week. Um, I have a friend who does it up in the Kansas City area. He coaches out there. Um, I'm tempted to try it. I really want to try this double threshold training now. I was talking to my student athlete, and we were just like inquisitive about it and stuff. I need to do more research on it, but it seems like it's the new hot thing going around. A lot more people are picking it up. I think 10 years ago, even like I had never heard of double threshold training. So I don't know, I'll have to we'll have to do some research on that though for sure.
Um,
Um, so,
maybe guinea pig the water boy.
yeah, so we'll get him back for one more year, man. Come on.
Coach, I am curious. We talked about the growth of the program this year and the success. The fourth on the men's side, 10th on the women's side. You were the women's region coach of the year. Did you expect that going into nationals? Did you think you guys were going to do better? What was kind of the thoughts going into nationals, and what is your recap of nationals this year?
Yeah, for sure. So I knew, like, we knew coming in, we have some international students, and it's always a question of are they going to get here? And once we got everyone here, you know, as a coaching staff, I talked to my assistant, and we're like, man, guys are going to be real deal. And the ladies, we thought, okay, we're maybe 1 year away, and the guys were like the chosen ones, right? They're like, no doubt they have a really good shot at region. Um, and they did good throughout the year. They had a good year. Don't get me wrong. Fourth in the nation is really good. And I'm so proud of what they've done. I mean, we returned all five of our top five for next year. But the girls is what surprised us. I think I one of the girls the week before, she said, Coach, if we win the region championships, will you bleach your hair? I said, yeah, I'll take that. We can do that, just messing around. Because in my head, I didn't think we had a shot, and they went out there and surprised me. So I'm gonna have to bleach my hair sometime here soon, man. So, but yeah, no, they did good. Our guys, man, they fourth in the nation. Our region meet was kind of rocky. We had some problems. We had one kid. Um, there's a part of the course. It's a loop course, and you could either go for the loop or go to the finish. And he was supposed to go for the finish, but he took the loop. And I'm running. I'm yelling, "Come on, come on!" Literally like 20 seconds until someone gets them turned around, and we lost some points there. And we just race wise, tactic wise, we made some errors, but we got to the national meet. We knew we could be like anywhere from third to fifth, and placed fourth. We were ranked fourth coming in, and so I was very happy with their performance. It was a great experience. They all return next year, my top five. So, um, the prospect for them moving forward is awesome. Same thing with the girls. A lot of our girls will return next year. And like I said, man, they surprised us. Those girls and our girls team is awesome. I can't brag about them enough because they come in every day, they work hard. Yes, coach, you tell them something to do. This is how we're gonna run it. Yep, we'll do it that way, coach. We're gonna take care of business. And ultimately, I think that's why they won a region championship because they were able to stay on top of it and be disciplined, you know. So, but yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. So
So you bring up your five guys are coming back and going into the nationals. You thought anywhere between third and fifth, and we know Salt Lake and Iowa Western are the top two dogs in junior college. What's it going to take to kind of break through that threshold and break those two up?
yeah, for sure. So you know, like I said, we're bringing our top five back. Obviously, fingers crossed, things happen sometimes, but I've talked with all the kids, man, and they are on board. They're ready to run, come back next year and do well. But I'm already on the recruiting trail, trying to find one or two more pieces to put into that top five, that top end talent. To kind of try to um, solidify that. But. I already know Salt Lake, Coach Wood out there, he has a great program. Coach Beerbaum over at Iowa Western, great program, and great coaches. I know they're leading their teams in the right direction. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be fun to see how things shape up recruiting wise for next year, and we'll get it, rocking and rolling. So.
Bring up being on the recruiting trail, and at the beginning of the podcast, you said you like recruiting. What are some of the key attributes you look in for an incoming recruit?
For sure. You know, throughout the visit, when I'm showing them around, talking with them, you ask questions, obviously get to know them, right? And usually you can see like when the student athlete, man, has passion for the sport, man. They just love it. They just like to go out there every day, train. They just like to go out there, compete. I'm straight up with them. I tell them like on the recruiting visit, I'm like, man, if you come in here, do what you're supposed to do. You're on time every day. Take care of the small things, do your prehab, post-hab. Um, you know, you're gonna do awesome things here. And usually the ones that receive it pretty well are the ones that end up doing good in their program. So.
Coach, you mentioned five guys, five gals coming back. Fingers crossed. Crazy things happen from time to time with Emmanuel and a performance like he had this year. Is that something that maybe might either keep you up every once in a while or wake you up in a cold sweat of kind of worrying about a big time school coming in and getting him before he finishes and gets his AA degree?
Yeah, yeah. We've had that happen in the past. I had a kid, a really good kid, Rogers Rotich. He took second at the national meet and ended up going to a Power Four school. That school is, I mean, top three in the nation this year, D1. But it just depends on the kid, man. And I'm hoping I'm hoping a D1 coach doesn't come in and respects our program enough to understand that. Um, I don't know. In my opinion, man, D1 coaches that do that are sleaze bags, man. If you're gonna have to like poach kids, I have no respect. But that's just my stance on it. I just think it's not cool, man. If you got to poach a kid off of a program, man, you're not doing it right. They're not, but yeah.
All right. He also mentioned how great the ladies are, and they show up every day. They do everything that's asked for of workout to workout, no matter what. They're there and they're ready to rock and roll. In your experience, have you found that sometimes it's maybe easier to get the buy-in from the ladies than it is from the guys at a new
Yeah,
program?
yeah. It depends on the year.
Hmm.
Every team's different. A lot of the times with us guys, us guys, we got egos sometimes.
Yep.
And, when you get a bunch of egos at play, hey, you got this kid who's really good at this school, he's their number one runner. You got this hotshot international athlete coming in, and, how do you mesh that as a team? And how do we, keep everyone on the same boat together going in the right direction? And even this year, we've navigated that with the guys a little bit. But I guess it just comes with the territory, of bringing in really good kids and being able to try to compete. So.
No. With a guy like Emmanuel and some of the other internationals that you how have they embraced, or how do you get them to embrace the Kansas winter?
For sure. Yeah.
Do you have treadmills on campus?
We have a couple. Yeah. I've been trying to talk to my AD. I said, man, we got some room in this small weight room. Let's go add some treadmills in there, but I'm sorry, what was your question? My bad.
I was just, because we talked to Coach Beerbaum about some of the athletes in the Iowa winners, and he said that Joffrey is his hats and gloves and gets after it outside, but some of the ladies, he said they're just treadmill all the time. So I'm just curious if Emmanuel has he experienced any bit of Kansas winter yet, or is it still fairly fall like for you guys right now?
Yeah, it's starting to it's been like 40s. I think this week's been 40s, and even a lot of the internationals, some of them never seen snow before. Some of them like, Coach, I need some gloves. I need a hat. But Coach, this is not, are we going to be running in this, Coach? Like, what are we going to do? Like, yeah, we're going to run in this. We're going to get tough out here. But yeah, it's always interesting. I can't wait for the first snow, because when that first snow comes down, they are starstruck. It's like, oh my gosh, what is this? So.
Coach, we've talked about some of the big dogs on both sides, the men's and the women's, but we all know some of the unsung heroes are what makes a team, what bring the team together. Do you have any stories like that, maybe one of the fifth guys, maybe someone who's not a fifth guy who kind of shows up every day and brings the team together and gets them all to work hard?
Yeah. Well, okay, I'll give you an example. We have a girl named Alexa Marshall, and Alexa, she comes in and works hard every day. Comes to practice, does what I've never had a problem with this girl at all. Now, going into our region meet, Hutchinson was the favorite to win, and I think they were ranked like fifth or sixth or something like that. But we went out there. Alexa, it could have happened to no better person, but Alexa, she balled up, got out there and PR'd by like almost 30 seconds. And when they have the live results, you can see the live results. And when everyone got through the line at first, it showed Hutchison 70, Butler 70. And then we went through the tiebreaker and we lost the tiebreaker. And, hey, we were down, whatever. Like, well, we took our shot, went after it. 5 minutes later, they updated Butler 69, Hutch 70, going crazy. But Alexa, Alexa was our number 5 on the day, and she was the reason why, one of the reasons why we were able to do that, because of her. So, but I mean, she's a great example for everyone, So.
Yeah, that's the stuff as an elder gentleman, or my elder years, I should say, an elder gentleman. I'm still in my 30s, but that's the stuff I appreciate a little bit more. When I was a competitor, I only cared about winning. I only cared about being the top dog, especially on a wrestling team. I didn't have time for the people who weren't helping me and weren't on the team to get better. But the more and more we talk to coaches and coaches that run programs like you, those are the stuff that I really gravitate to, and those are the people that I think more people need to take notice of, right? Because we all think about sports, about winning, getting our hand raised, getting those All-American statuses, but it's about building character and the lessons that you're going to take with you in your life.
Yeah, I agree 100%, 100%. And, even when I'm talking to the kids, like kids late for practice or whatever, I tell the kid, it's really not even about practice. It's about getting you ready for, next level when you get out there, because I said, dude, if you're gonna be late to practice if you late to your job every day, you think they're gonna like that, And so I agree with you full-heartedly on that, man. So
Yeah, Rich has heard me say this a million times, but my wrestling coach in high school always used to say, "This sport is going to teach you lessons that you're going to carry with you for the rest of your life." And I always used to be like, "Shut up, dude. Can you stop? Like, can we just?" And now every day I'm like, man, he was so right. He was right on point.
Yeah. Yeah,
Coach,
100%.
you bring up that you don't respect a Division I coach that comes and poach kids, and we're kind of on the same wavelength as you. With that said, what are your goals as a coach? Are your goals as a coach to continue to build Butler? Do you have aspirations to go on to another division, or are you just day by day and trying to build your program?
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. I'm from Kansas. I was born right up 77 from El Dorado, about 90 minutes. My parents live up there. I'm Kansas born and bred. I love Kansas. I think I'll die in Kansas, but I'm not actively seeking anything. If a really good opportunity presents itself, then, obviously, hey, I might do some research, look into it. But I'm happy at Butler, and the resources we have, the support staff, everything we have, I'm happy here. I'm a simple man, and you give me what I need to be able to go out there and take a team to compete. That'll suffice with me. So good community right next to Wichita and everything we need here. So I'm pretty content at Butler, I'd say.
Coach, I got two things for you. You mentioned being from Kansas and you will die in Kansas. Rich and I have done road trips back and forth, East Coast to West Coast, and we've had some stops in Kansas, and we have some memorable stories in Kansas. And two of them that I'm going to bring up right now. Have you ever been to Grandma Horner's?
Where's that at?
It's
It's
off
just
of 70,
it's
right?
in between Kansas City and Lawrence.
Grandma Horner's?
Yeah, it's like
That's on.
jams and pies and stuff.
I think I've seen it. I haven't stopped
Okay.
by there. Is it pretty legit though?
We enjoyed it, yeah. And when we were in Colorado, I used to buy the jam at the Whole Foods there. Um,
Nice. That's very
and
cool.
the other story, we were in where were we in Kansas when we stopped for the barbecue, Rich?
We were in Lawrence. We were at where the University of Kansas is.
We stopped for barbecue and we got the tri-tip and it was kind of it was tough. And the guy there, this is like an inside joke Rich and I had. He goes, next time you get the ribs next time. And we both like looked at each other like, well, there's probably not going to be a next time, man. Do you have a barbecue of choice?
Um, Kansas City, if you ever come back through, go through Kansas City. Q39 has some really good barbecue. Some of the best I've had. Jack Stacks also, out there in Kansas City is really good. So if you ever coming through Q39, Jack Stacks, they have a couple different locations. It's pretty renowned in the Kansas City area. Man, you guys got to try it.
What do
Really
you
good barbecue.
suggest there?
Say what?
What do you suggest? You get the ribs, you get the brisket,
The
you get the tri-tip.
brisket.
Yeah,
The brisket. Are you guys? I mean, ribs are good too.
we're brisket guys.
Brisket all
Okay, so
day,
we
every
we'll
day.
rock with that. Yeah.
If it was up to me at Thanksgiving, we would have brisket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coach, Jimmy said we've driven through Kansas quite a few times, and because of running and wrestling, we know about different things. But I think a lot of people, the perspective of the state of Kansas is it's really flat, and there's a lot of cornfields. But you said you're born and raised there, and you're gonna die there. You got a lot of pride in it. What's maybe one or two things about Kansas that the rest of the world needs to know?
Um, that's a really good question. I think one fact about Kansas, well, I guess you could probably assume it, but the geographical center is in the northern part of Kansas, and I haven't been up there before, but they have some type of crazy freaking landmark or something out there. So if you guys are coming through Kansas, you guys gotta check that out too. And then what else? I don't know. I can't think of nothing right now.
Put them on the spot, Rich.
Yeah, you put me on the spot, man. I got me flustered, man. So
No worries.
Coach, is there anything about Butler that we haven't brought up that you want the fans and recruits to know?
yeah, for sure. I mean, in terms of like junior college, Butler is an awesome place, not just athletics, academically also, location wise, we have a great location. So, being next to Wichita, you go to some junior colleges out here in Kansas, and I mean, you've seen Last Chance U, kind of middle of nowhere. But so our location's awesome. We have a beautiful stadium out here. Athletically, our athletic culture is awesome. I mean, I think fall sports, three of our four teams won some type of championship this year. Football did, um, soccer, women's soccer, and then cross country. But the culture here is awesome athletically. We have a great support system. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of Butler. So.
You mentioned that culture and how all the teams or all Americans brought home some trophies, and we know junior college football in Kansas is big. Does the football team get big turnouts?
Yeah, it's great, dude. When I first showed up, I was in shock because I coached at Fort Scott Community College for a couple of years before Butler, and before they shut down their football program out there, you know, they they were playing at the high school. You had some people turn out, whatever. And I came to Butler. We have this beautiful stadium. People are out tailgating before. For a junior college program, it's crazy, man. I mean, they pack the stands. Our video people do a really good job. They've played a couple games on ESPN Plus also. So the production side of things, um, it's beautiful. I wish I could have. If you guys come to Kansas, stop by Butler Community College. I will give you the full tour. I'll take you out. We can even get some barbecue here in El Dorado. I'll show you the good spot. So, but
All
yeah.
Be
right.
careful, coach.
Mary bros just show up sometimes, so be careful what you wish for.
Final four, Rich, you got anything else for coach?
I mean, I could talk all night, especially about running and stuff, but want to be respectful. We're already a little bit behind here. I wanted to get into the final four so coach can get on his way.
All right, final four it is. Coach, first one I have for you. Are you a coffee drinker?
Love coffee, man. Every day. If it's not coffee, it's an energy drink. I mean, yeah.
Okay, so two parts here. How do you brew your coffee? How do you take it? And what's your energy drink of choice?
Okay. That's good. The energy drink, it depends on the day. Usually I try to go to the gas station and find the drink with the most caffeine in it. And I live right outside El Dorado. The gas station's small. I think the one that has the most caffeine is Bang. But I'm a big Monster guy. I like Monster. I like Red Bull. Um, Coffee, I just brew it normally. But I drink it black, man. I mean, just condition myself. It's like it's like wine. Wine's like an acquired taste, right? And that's how I feel. Are you guys big coffee drinkers?
We are. Yeah.
Nice.
We like the black too.
Dabble in,
Rick
da-
likes some oat
dabble in
milk from
a
time to time.
energy
Yeah,
drink from time to time as well too.
nice.
Have you dabbled in the rain world at all?
Yes, I like rain. Rain's pretty good.
Those are
Um,
heavily caffeinated as well.
yes, yes, yeah.
Do you
Um,
have a Monster or Bang flavor of choice?
the uh the green monster can, I really like that, especially in the mornings, or the orange one, the zero sugar one. And then um yeah, so
Coach, do you have any daily practices or rituals that you do on a regular basis to show up as the strongest version of Mark Emerson?
wait, okay, say that one more time, sorry.
Do you have any daily practices or rituals that you do on a regular basis to show up as the strongest version of yourself?
For sure. Well, I've started this ritual. And I guess it's not, it's just kind of self-improvement. habit. Um, I wake up early in the morning now. I've been doing it since I've got the head coach gig. And, a lot of the times as a head coach, man, there's a lot that goes on during the day, a lot you got to manage, fires you got to put out, stuff like that. Long days, but I like to go in the morning, wake up early, and I like to go to our gym. I go get my lift in. I'll go walk on the treadmill for like 30 minutes. And that's like my time before the day gets going. And for me, that's very important, man. That's like, taking that time for yourself to kind of get mentally ready, get motivated, get, whatever it is. I've been doing that every morning for, Monday through Friday. So, um,
Well,
but
we get down with that. We like that.
nice.
Coach, what are you listening to right now? Music, podcasts, audiobooks? Are you reading anything?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm a big football guy. I like sports. It's Pardon My Take. Have you heard of Pardon My Take?
Mhm.
It's a
Yeah.
podcast. That's kind of I'll turn that on during when I'm in the office getting work done. Um, Background noise too, but just I like it because they're just a bunch of dudes hanging out talking, like you and me, right? And so I'll listen to that. But yeah, that's kind of that.
I take it you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan?
I'm a Chiefs guy, yeah. I'm a Chiefs guy at heart, and I'm not a bandwagon. Some people are like, "Oh man, like you must be a bandwagon." No, I liked them when we were going like 3-13. Those days. Are you guys football fans at all?
Not really.
Not really.
I mean, I graduated from the University of Colorado, Denver, so I've jumped on the bandwagon of the Buffs with Coach Prime. I've been following along with them, but to be honest, I just watched the pre and post game press conferences. I can't watch a full football game.
Yeah. Do you keep up with wrestling?
Yeah, we do a pretty good job of keeping up with wrestling.
Dude, wrestling, man. I'm gonna say this: wrestling is it's probably one of the hardest sports, hands down. I came from Junction City High School. Junction City High School for years in Kansas they were powerhouse program, one of the best in the state. I think they still are. And but that, boxing, MMA, wrestling, sports like that are just a grind, man. You have to be tough to do stuff like that. And so full respect. Any wrestler out there going through it, man, much respect to them because man, it's hard work. That is you gotta go through some things, man. So, but yeah, so
Coach, curious, we grew up in New Jersey, and there's like a distinct line in New Jersey where above the line, you're New York sports fans. And then when you get below the line, you're Philadelphia sports fans. So I'm curious, is there a line in Kansas where people then shift to Denver sports? Or
yeah,
if you're in Kansas, you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan?
yeah. So, I'm still trying to find that exact line. We
Yeah.
have a kid on our team. He's a Broncos fan. Beto Torres. Um, he's from Liberal, Kansas, Western Kansas by Colorado, but um, somewhere in that liberal area, I think that line is. But until every we played the Broncos a couple weeks ago, and I said, Beto, I said, it doesn't matter what you guys, it doesn't matter. I said, you guys took the L, so, but yeah, so
Is it where 135 and 70 meet? Like west of that is Broncos fan, east of that is Kansas City.
it might
Yeah.
be,
Right on. Curious. I've driven up that 135 through 35 to 135 through Wichita to get to Colorado when I lived in Oklahoma City. I used to go up that way to get to Colorado when I would go there in the summer times.
nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Coach, last one we have for you. Could be anything, could be food, could be music, could be maybe a cigar or a whiskey after a successful cross country race. But do you have a guilty pleasure?
Um, I would say Uber Eats is my guilty pleasure, man.
Okay.
I work hard during the week. We have a successful race. I live outside of Wichita, kind of outside El Dorado. So it's just close enough where I can get Uber Eats. So it's expensive, man, but it's 100% worth it, especially on a Sunday when football's playing. I might get some Uber Eats for lunch. If I'm feeling really frisky, I might get it for dinner, who knows, But
Twofer.
yeah.
What are you
So
getting?
Get wings? What are you getting?
um lately, it's been Applebee's, man. They have the classic combo they have mozzarella sticks, quesadilla, spinach artichoke dip, Buffalo Wild Wings. I love B-Dubs, Chipotle, Panda Express, man. Shoot. Have you guys ever had Hawaiian Bros before?
I have not.
No?
Tell me,
Okay.
tell me more.
That's another one. It's Hawaiian based, but it's meat rice. They have like mac salad, stuff like that. Meat's really good, man. It is amazing. They just opened it up here in Wichita, actually. I think
Is that like a
we
poke bowl?
kinda a
Yeah.
little bit, yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Um, have you guys had Whataburger before?
I have not.
Yeah, I don't.
We lived in California for a bit, so we were kind of in and out guys, but we're also East Coast guys, so Five Guys usually reigns supreme these days.
Five Guys, yes. What's your guys' opinion on In and Out?
It's gone downhill since it's you go there a couple times, to kind of say you've been there, done that kind of thing, but I think depending on which one you go to, the quality is which one you go to and how busy they are usually determines the quality of the food. If it's on point, it's on point, but more often than not, I've in the past couple 5 or 6 times I've been disappointed.
That makes sense. It's kind of like Whataburger too.
Yeah.
So
I have been tempted. They just opened two down here. I'm in Greenville, South Carolina, and they just opened two fairly recently, but I haven't been up for battling with the line that has been accumulating since it's been open. So once that calms down, maybe I'll go check it out. But I've heard it's a little bit more hype than anything.
yeah, yeah, 100%.
Right on.
Yeah, like Rich said, we grew up in Jersey and we grew up on diner food. And I think kind of when the first couple times you go to In-N-Out, that's kind of the vibe you get. But like I said, we grew up on diner food, some of the best that I've ever had. So it really, really doesn't compare after that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, 100%.
And the original Jersey Mike's is from our hometown.
Is it really? What
Yeah.
what's your guys' hometown?
Point Pleasant, New Jersey.
Okay, nice. And are they still operating, or is it just like a monument, or like
So the original store is now like a training center. So when like people purchase a franchise and they're going to open a franchise, they go there to get trained on how to make the bread, make the sandwiches, customer service, all those sorts of things. So there are um, two locations in our town, but neither one of them are the original location.
okay, that makes sense. We have one in Wichita. I've never actually had it. Is Jersey Mike's worth it?
Yes.
Well, I I think yes, it is. It is our go-to sub place, but I will say this, kind of like Rich was saying with In-N-Out with the locations. It depends on the location and how they make their bread. That said, if you go get a Club Supreme,
Club Supreme.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna do that this weekend. And one more thing, you know, going back to, a couple things about Kansas. The first Pizza Hut's actually was in Wichita. So,
Okay. There you go.
yeah.
Is it
So
still
for
there?
it doesn't operate no more, but it's by Wichita State. So,
All right.
Okay.
yeah.
I would also add get the Club Supreme and get it Mike's Way.
Mike's Way.
Yeah.
Okay. What's that?
It's salt, pepper, oregano, oil, and vinegar.
Ooh. Okay. We're gonna do that this weekend, man.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what we grew up on. So like when I started traveling for cross country races and stuff in college, and we were going to like Subway and Quiznos, I was like, "What's going on here?" Like, oh, that's extra. You gotta ask for extra meat, because I was just so used to how they made them at Jersey Mike's. But
Yeah.
yeah, you'll enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, Quiznos, man, you're throwing it back now. Are they still rolling? You remember Mr. Good Sense at all? Do they have that out there?
No.
No.
No. Yeah. Man, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Jersey Mike's through and through.
Nice.
Coach, I think we could get down with some chain restaurant food. Of our inner wrestlers are shining right now, so I think we could get down, and we're definitely going to take you up on that tour of Butler Community College and the local barbecue for sure at
Yeah.
some point. But thank you so much for your time. This was an epic conversation. We really enjoyed getting educated on you, what you got going on in Butler, and all the great things the team is doing there.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Appreciate it, guys, man. It was fun, and yeah, we will talk soon for sure.
Congrats on the cross country season, Coach. Honor, pleasure to chat with you, and best of luck for indoor and outdoor season.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care, Coach.
Take care. Have a good night,
You
sir.
too. See ya.